The man stood at the door of the room, hearing the sound of the door opening from within. In his mind, he had no dark thoughts. Instead, it was just endless fear. Right from the first day working at the nursing home, Mac had discovered many bizarre points. The old people were obviously old, but physically as strong as young men. Every night, sounds of fighting immediately sounded from downstairs. What made him more curious was that all employees told him to absolutely not go to the fourth floor, which was the banned area of the nursing home. That night when sleeping, he heard a voice advising him to leave quickly. When he woke up, he discovered that the door was locked, not knowing when it had opened again. But although everywhere in the nursing home exuded a bizarre air, he could not give up this job. Having no mother or father, he had lived with his adoptive parents since childhood. Although he and his brother were not related by blood, their bond was stronger than flesh and blood. But not long after, the family received bad news. His brother was suddenly dying in college. His adoptive parents used the reason that he was too young and refused to let him attend his brother's funeral. The great shock made him completely collapse, leading him to use rebellious behavior to evade the cruel reality. Previously, he was caught by the police for graffiti. His adoptive parents had to use countless connections to help him have a chance to make amends. By working for a period of public service in the nursing home, he could avoid a prison sentence. Reluctantly, he could only grit his teeth and endure staying. The next morning, the elderly organized a solemn ceremony to welcome him. Seeing their enthusiasm, the frustration in his heart gradually disappeared. However, the healthcare doctor of the nursing home, Dr. Sabian, constantly praised him for having beautiful eyes. The strange tone made him gradually feel uneasy. After a busy day, he fell into a deep sleep. Unexpectedly the next moment, a woman wearing a mask appeared next to his bed. During his sleep, he heard heavy breathing in his ear. Mac was so scared he almost jumped up. Fortunately, it was all a dream. Unable to sleep, he walked down the windy corridor and discovered that the old people were still singing and dancing. He once again marveled at their abundant strength. Suddenly, a tragic cry tore through the night. That sound came from the fourth floor. The next morning, unable to suppress his curiosity any longer, he walked into the elevator and pressed the button for the fourth floor. Seeing the elevator had absolutely no reaction, he followed the stairs climbing up, finding the corridor door easily locked. But the scene inside made him so horrified he could not speak. A few old people sat in wheelchairs, their lives like dry wood, sitting motionless on the spot. No matter their bloody sores, they did not feel pain. In the corner of the room, an old man felt familiar, and unexpectedly, the opponent was even more excited than him, trying to stand up, gritting his teeth and rushing towards him. The noise quickly made the staff pay attention. They sedated the old man. Sitting on the surface and soul-searching, Mac thought that he had caused a big disaster and would definitely be kicked out of the nursing home. But Dr. Sabian only slightly scolded a few sentences, then told him to make sure he did not go to the fourth floor, because the old people there were mentally ill. Although not punished, he was not happy at all. Compared to the energetic old people he still saw every day, the people on the fourth floor were indeed like hell compared to heaven. The people on the fourth floor were like pigs, exhausted as if about to die, completely opposite. When he was full of suspicion, an old woman named Norma suddenly came. She had also heard that during the day he was on the fourth floor, and quietly advised him that the situation there is very complicated, and he absolutely must not interfere. In the end, she said his eyes were very similar to her deceased child's. That night, he dreamed of strange scenes. The old people on the fourth floor seemed to suffer from the same pain. Unsurprisingly, this was a difficult night to sleep. He just waited until the morning, intending to find Norma to ask clearly. The results were that she was unwell and had been taken to the special care room. He didn't think much of it and turned away to clean the leaves in the yard. Accidentally lifting his head, he saw the fourth floor window. The old man who had attacked himself yesterday seemed to be leaving something on the glass. But the next second, another old man fell from the floor. Looking closely, it was the one who had advised him, Norma. In the opponent's room, the doctor found a suicide letter. It wrote that she wanted to see her dead son. The police naturally decided it was suicide. However, Mac felt that things were not so simple. Yesterday, Norma had informed him of a mystery, and today she had disappeared and then died unexpectedly. In the world, why is there such a coincidence? That night, he had a nightmare and woke up. He discovered in front of the door, not knowing when, a black round tube had appeared. Opening the door to look around, it was not clear who had left it. Gently pressing the switch, the round tube emitted a soft purple light, shining on the wall to reveal a line. Find those symbols. Remembering the old man in the room had once said that when they slept, it was as if they weren't awake, he took the courage to enter the next room and indeed discovered behind their necks a small hidden symbol. Mac was both amazed and happy. Obviously, someone was silently helping him uncover the secret in the nursing home. The next morning, he noticed those energetic old people often unconsciously rubbed the back of their necks. Obviously, they also carried those bizarre symbols. When no one noticed, he secretly went down to the basement, where Norma's storage was brought to be burned. In the pile of odd items, he found a sophisticated glass lens that felt familiar to Mac and immediately stuffed it into his pocket. He also found the opponent's diary. On the last page, it clearly stated that she had discovered Dr. Sabian seemed to be turning her into a scary scary creature. Those words made the suspicion grow deeper in Mac. Returning to the room, he immediately searched for information about the doctor. Unexpectedly, the opponent was the national leading expert in brain nerves, having published many theses related to extending life. Such a talent, why work at this small nursing home? Suddenly, countless small windows popped up on his computer. He was forced to click on a link, immediately transferring to the frame of an incubation room. A woman with a specially processed face stepped out in front of the lens, saying she had always watched his eyes. The purple lamp last night was left by her, and this nursing home was turning people into monsters. Norma was killed just because of suspicion she revealed the secret, and you are probably the next person. If you want to ask more, the communication signal was suddenly cut. Mac could only find the truth on his own. Since then, whenever he looked at those energetic elderly, he felt insecure. He also placed sensors in many corners and set up more surveillance cameras that no one noticed. Returning to the room, he hurriedly opened the computer. At first, the image showed nothing unusual. Until midnight, the old man who had once attacked him on the 4th floor suddenly crawled in front of the camera lens, his mouth moving as if he wanted to say something. But then, another fascinating scene occurred. Dr. Sabian pushed his neighbor into the basement room, immediately after which, the sound of a dog's barking came from the door. Obviously, they were secretly conducting scary tasks, perhaps the reform experiment that Norma's diary had mentioned. Motivated by curiosity, Mac went along the stairs to the basement, but the corridor door was locked. From inside, there was a screaming scream from the neighbor, making the doubt in Mac's heart grow even firmer. At the same time he intended to continue investigating, the noise caused the guard dog to detect him. The fearful guy ran for his life, hurrying back to his room. Opening the door, he suddenly saw a female figure. It was the girl who had appeared in the video with the processed face. He saw her taking out a set of documents, saying that this nursing home was actually the experiment of a pharmaceutical company. They skipped the testing stage on animals, directly treating the elderly as lab rats. These subjects were either without children or had dementia, so no one noticed. And that woman's father was one of the patients on the 4th floor. After saying that, she was about to leave, but as soon as the door opened, the old man who had attacked him appeared. Not knowing how long later, Mac woke up in a hospital bed. The nurse explained that a 4th floor patient had sneaked out and unjustly attacked anyone he saw. Mac just felt pain on the back of his neck, and in his heart, suspected the nursing staff were unusual. When the nurse left, he climbed through the window and escaped. Experiencing many difficulties, he finally returned to his adoptive parents. Unexpectedly, the two grandparents had adopted a couple more sisters. His mother guessed he had a problem, but did not ask much, just told him to stay at home. He wanted to tell his mother about the strange things in the nursing home, but it felt like a shocking jumbled mess. Words to his mouth, he did not know where to start. After his adoptive parents left, the sisters suddenly walked over, saying that in their house, they had discovered a secret room. Inside, there was a glass lens just like the one he had brought back. Listening, his eyes startled, he immediately followed the two sisters to the upstairs bedroom. Going through the dressing room, behind the wall, it was indeed hiding a secret room, which the two sisters had accidentally discovered when playing. As soon as he entered, he immediately saw the lens on the table. Recalling when he was young, he had caught his adoptive father using it, it was difficult to forget. Not far away, there was a statue of a Roman goddess of beauty. Beside it, he found a photo album and hurriedly opened it. He was surprised to see all the familiar faces from the nursing home. Even his adoptive parents were in it. Those photos were from 30 years ago. Could it be these people hadn't aged? At the end of the album was an identical collective photo. The only difference was that the person sitting in the wheelchair changed. Suddenly, a photo caused him to be dumbfounded. The boy sitting in the wheelchair was his brother. In that moment, he immediately guessed the truth. His brother did not die. He had been sent to the nursing home by his adoptive family. As if crazy, he rushed out of the house, running straight back to the 4th floor of the institute. Using force to destroy the lock, he faced the old man who had attacked him before. As expected, that person was the brother, who had been missing for many years. No wonder when he first met the old man, he had felt familiar. Those bizarre actions were not meant to harm him, but were
warning his younger brother to leave quickly. At this time, he realized all the old people on the 4th floor were brought here by their adoptive parents. He just didn't understand why they sometimes became so old again. Mac was preparing to take his brother to leave when his back suddenly moved with a fierce pain, causing him to faint. When he regained consciousness, he discovered he was tied to a wheelchair, his dirty coat turned into a suit, and he had become the central figure in the collective photo. Just when he was suspicious, Dr. Sabian finally revealed the truth. After research and experiments, he had discovered that behind the human eyeball there exists a special gland, secreting an essence that can help people maintain infinite vitality. The old people in front of them were thanks to that gland that they achieved immortality. In fact, their real age had gone over 100. Every family would adopt children, the goal being to put them in the nursing home to provide them with essence, and this essence naturally came from the eyes. Although he knew the truth, he was completely helpless and could only watch as they stabbed a needle into his eye sockets. When he regained consciousness, he found himself on the 4th floor, his body weak like an old man near death. At this time, Mac finally understood why his brother had become so old. It must have been from providing the essence for the other monsters for many years. In his haze, Mac saw his brother break a steel bar from his wheelchair, then go to each old man, stabbing the steel bar into their eyes. A fluid mixed with blood poured out. It turned out these people voluntarily dedicated their essence, even when it was no exception. When the entire essence was poured into Mac's mouth, his body seemed to be revived after a drought, quickly restoring its vitality. Not long after, a nurse entered, witnessing the immediate scene, and was dumbfounded. Mac, like a devil escaping, immediately rushed from the back and ended her with the steel bar. When she fell to the ground, his lips smiled contentedly. At this time, he was like a god coming out of hell. He knew that in this nursing home, no one was innocent, regardless of whether the old people were full of power or staff wearing uniforms. He killed everyone he met. Dr. Sabian, not knowing where, pulled out a gun, immediately pulled an old man to use as a shield, and then fired frantically. At that moment, a storm came. The old roof was blown away by the wind, falling on his adoptive parents, causing the two wicked people to die on the spot. And he killed all the sinners. After the rain, he helped his brother step out of the nursing home. Behind them followed all the elderly from the 4th floor. Coming here is also the last scene of the movie The Home. It must be said that the movie is extremely attractive. The male lead's process of exploring the truth is very dramatic. And the most exciting point is when he removed all hesitation, killing the evil in the nursing home. If you love thrilling scenes, I encourage you to see the original. You will definitely have a different experience. Thank you for watching the video. Do not forget to like and comment, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell to receive the latest videos soon. See you again in the next reviews.